Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is going to be our second part of the session Healing Your Heart. Let's begin. So, our ultimate purpose of life is submission to God. Prayer is about connection and conversation with God because we are incomplete without Him. We feel empty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only healer of heart. To understand the statement more, I'll give you an example. Suppose you like someone so much and you help them in every possible way because you know that you want to please that person and you want to make them know that how much you care for them, love for them. But the wrong part is, what humans make mistake is that they expect the same feeling from them for us. We expect that person to have the same feeling that we had for them. We expect from people because expectation can always hurt. People are going through different ups and downs, and people are going through various moods, different behaviors, and we don't know, they might be going through different struggles. We don't know, and we expect to be in a very lovable manner every time, but that's not the case. We might hurt. So it's not the humans that is going to heal you. To have a better perspective, we help people to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, we know that helping that person because our intention is to please the Creator with our actions, with our words, so that we can unconditionally be nice to the people. We can be unconditionally do the good with our words, with our actions, because you know, when we rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is going to help you when you are in need, so that we can do things, we can help people without expectation. This is important. Giving without expecting makes you a better human. In Salah, we are always in a hurry-burry. We plan the day during Salah. We are very much conscious on what's happening around us. Our lips are busy with the recitations and our mind is busy with thinking something else. Suppose you need a list of groceries and you tell your brother, your husband, or anyone that the things that you need in one breath. Will that person get you? Will that person would understand what you're trying to say? You say tomato, 1 kg potato, 2 kg onion, and you say all of the list in just one breath. And what would that person respond? Relax, calm. I can't understand you. What are you trying to say? Either you write down the list that you need or you say it slowly. This is what's happening. For you to say and for the other person to receive, you need to slow down, right? You need to, when you ask to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the things that you need, why are we in so much hurry, and why don't we have time? When comparing this situation with our Salah, we are asking forgiveness, guidance during Salah with the lips alone. Are our mind getting involved in this? Are we even trying to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He is ready to give what we want, what we ask for. But we are in a hurry-burry. We are hurry during Salah. The reality is we don't have time for the Creator of time. The only way that we can enjoy the timeless presence is by connecting to God, being mindful in prayers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to get over this and really enjoy the sweetness of Salah. Like, there are times when we feel low, but trust me, if we try to get closer to Him, we're going to get better. We are going to get better in mentally, physically, and emotionally. I know we get distracted very often, and it isn't easy to get back to Salah and get conscious and mindful. I know. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us. It is not easy in the beginning, but eventually you will love the change. Because we get healed spiritually, emotionally, and physically. As the mystics say, prayer without presence of the Lord in the heart is not a prayer at all. And another quote from Rumi says that, don't abandon your everyday life. That's where the treasure is hidden. So we get paradise in the end, but the treasure is hidden in our everyday routine practices. To get into paradise, we need to ask for guidance. We need to ask for repentance. But if we are getting hari-bari in Salah, we will miss the treasures that is hidden in our daily practices. So analyze yourself where you are in performing the Salah, and let's begin to correct our mistakes, inshallah, and may Allah make it easy for all of us. Now let's talk about the secrets behind pre-prayer rituals, that is adhan and wudu. We are called to prayer 5 times a day, right? It is recited loudly in homes or in speakers at mosques. This is a communal reminder to turn one's awareness from the outer world of passing forms towards the face of God's eternal reality. This is an alarm to awaken the sleeping human heart from being consumed with the world. No matter what we are doing, no matter how important our work is to us, the call to prayer reminds the believer that there is something far more important than every dream, desire, and fleeting thought we may have. 5 times a day, we are held accountable for our actions, giving us the opportunity to consistently realign with the straight path of love, mercy, and faith. So the true happiness is not found in money or worldly accomplishments, but it is found in prayer and intimacy with Allah. The Salat reminds us, Hayya al-Salat, Hayya al-Falah. This is a call to prayer, and it says Hayya al-Falah. That means the adhan is calling for success or salvation. So this is why the prayer itself is the reward. It is 5 times a day. So adhan is about God inviting us for the success in this world and hereafter. Wudu. What is wudu? It is the act of purification. Okay, it is a symbol of purifying our body from all the sins that we may have committed. Like when we are washing our face, we can pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to brighten our face on the day of judgment with happiness. We can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 5 times a day. When we wash our hands, our right feet, our left feet, we can ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive the sins that I have done with my hands, my feet. So this is about purifying from the sins that we have done. It is about washing away our sins through the water of truth. It is not just about the physical purification. It is about the spiritual cleansing and performing of the soul as preparation for entering into the king's court. So wudu is like the pre-prayer meditation that step by step shifts our awareness from the outer world to the inner realms of the soul, cleansing the mind and heart from anything other than Allah. Now let's talk about the postures of prayer. There are several movements in prayer, right? And there are specific recitations for each position. The salat begins with the standing position, saying Allahu Akbar, and we continue with salutation. And in that salutation we take an oath that we belong to Allah, we came from Allah, and we return back to Allah alone. And we also take the pledge that there is no God but Allah. This is wajjahtu, right? Then we continue with Fatiha and Surah. Now every salat have this recitation of the first chapter of the Quran, that is Fatiha, the opener. So the Fatiha opens the heart to the light of guidance and healing. There are 7 verses. The verses of the Fatiha are doorways to the divine, because they teach us not just how to seek guidance, but also how to have a relationship with God. And the following is an invocation saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is a declaration of the God's infinite mercy, Rahmanir Rahim, right? And we begin with Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, saying all praises and glory belongs to Allah alone. So in this way we begin with gratitude and praise of God, because when we are grateful, our attention is on the present movement, allowing us to receive the love that God is consistently pouring upon us. Fatiha is just an integral part of every salat. So gratitude has a very big deal in salat, right? It allows us to receive the love that God is consistently pouring upon us. And then we say, you alone we worship, you alone we ask for help. So we are understood that the God alone is the master of this world and the next. So we are naturally inclined to turn to Him for guidance, because we know that He alone has power over the outcomes of our life. As a believer, as a Muslim, we wanted to be successful in this world and hereafter. So doing our part, but the outcome is Allah alone. He is the one who is the controller of our lives, of everything. He is the master of this world and hereafter. So the only way that we have hope is asking for guidance, right? As it is said, you alone we worship, you alone we ask for help. So Fatiha teaches us the path of the spiritual seeker. It always begins with being with Allah. This standing position reminds us that one day we will stand before God to answer the choices that we have made. The choices that we have made to not hurt someone or to hurt someone. So all these questions would be asked on the day of judgment, and we have to answer the choices that we have made. So humans have this habit of being arrogant and have that superiority complex over others, like I am better than him. No, Allah has created us not to stand above the rest of the creation, but to stand in humbleness. Being humble should be practiced, because humility is the key in prayers. Now in from the standing position, we bow down to the ruku position. That is, we bow down with our hands on our knees and our backs straight. So our backs should be it should be very straight, that if we keep a cup of water on our back, it shouldn't spill. Okay, so we have to be bow in 90 degrees. We will be finishing part 2 over here. We have discussed many things in this session. We have discussed about the ultimate purpose of life, that spirituality complete us, about the time and consciousness that we must take for prayer, and we have discussed about the pre-rituals in Adhan, and there are postures of Salah. That is, we have standing, sitting, the bowing down, the sujood, and I have discussed about Fatiha in this session. Now I will be doing more in the next part 3, inshallah. I'm sorry because it took so long, so I wanted to make it short and to make it easier to understand the things that is already said in the past. In this session, I will be discussing more about the postures of Salah, that is Sujood, Qiyam, the wonderful sitting between Sujood. We will be discussing about what is said during these times and what it reminds us, so that it helps us to be more conscious during Salah, and we can actually, inshallah, with the will of Allah, enjoy the sweetness of Salah. So thank you so much for listening. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.